There's something about hard work in the kitchen that brings out the best, and sometimes the worst, in people. At a bustling restaurant downtown, tensions are always running high, and today is no different. The clatter of pans, the sizzle of food, and the sharp bark of the head chef's commands fill the air. But there's one person in the back of the kitchen who's working quietly, unnoticed by most. An elderly dishwasher, her hands wrinkled but steady, moving through piles of plates and glasses like clockwork. She's new here, and the head chef wastes no time making it clear she's unwelcome. He sneers at her, calling out her mistakes, belittling her for being slow, and questioning why someone her age would even bother taking this kind of job. "You're holding everyone back," he snaps, while the rest of the staff exchanges uneasy glances. What he doesn't realize is that this unassuming woman isn't just anyone. She's not here for the paycheck or because she has nowhere else to go. No, she's here for a reason that would make the chef regret every harsh word. As the evening rush kicks in, the tension in the kitchen reaches its peak. But just when the chef is about to unleash another round of insults, the restaurant owner walks in and heads straight for the dishwasher. What happens next will leave everyone in that kitchen speechless. Stay tuned, because this is a story of humility, respect, and the shocking power of secrets revealed at just the right time. The room goes still as the restaurant owner steps into the kitchen. Dressed sharply but casually, he carries an air of authority that silences even the loudest chef's orders. The dishwasher, still focused on her work, doesn't seem to notice him at first. She keeps scrubbing away, her movements calm and steady, as if she's done this 1,000 times before. But the chef's face twists with confusion. Why is the owner walking toward the back? Why does he seem so familiar with this woman? As the owner approaches, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. He smiles warmly at the elderly dishwasher, his voice soft but audible to the entire room. "Mom, how are you holding up?" he asks, his tone full of care and respect. At that moment, every pair of eyes in the kitchen widens in shock, and the head chef's jaw nearly hits the floor. She finally looks up from her work, her tired eyes lighting up when she sees him. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just helping out where I can," she replies, brushing a stray strand of gray hair from her face. The chef, frozen in place, begins to piece together what's happening, but it only raises more questions. Why would the owner's mother, of all people, be working as a dishwasher? Did she choose this job, or was this some kind of test? He's desperate for answers, but also terrified of what might happen next. The rest of the staff exchanges hushed whispers, waiting for the owner to speak again. Little does the chef know, this is just the beginning of a lesson he won't soon forget. The kitchen feels like it's holding its breath. The head chef, who just moments ago was barking orders and insults, now stands awkwardly, his face flushed. He avoids the owner's gaze, his usual confidence nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the rest of the staff can't help but steal glances at the elderly woman, trying to make sense of the situation. The owner's mother, however, doesn't seem fazed. She smiles softly at her son and pats his arm, her demeanor calm and unshaken. "Don't worry about me," she says, her voice steady but kind. "I'm here because I wanted to be. Besides, it's been a long time since I've worked in a kitchen. Feels good to get my hands dirty again." The chef can barely process her words. A million thoughts race through his mind. Why didn't anyone tell him who she was? What if his behavior gets back to the owner? His reputation, his career, it's all on the line now. But there's more to the story than just his humiliation. As the night goes on, the staff starts to notice something remarkable about the elderly dishwasher. She moves through the kitchen with surprising ease, stepping in to help prep vegetables, organize storage, and even calm a flustered line cook. She doesn't just work, she leads in her own quiet way. The owner lingers in the background, watching everything unfold. There's something in his expression, a mix of pride and amusement, but also something deeper, like he's waiting for a moment that hasn't yet come. For the chef, the real conflict is just beginning. The night isn't over, and neither is the lesson he's about to learn. As the night rush picks up, the kitchen becomes a whirlwind of orders, sizzling pans, and hurried footsteps. The chef tries to focus, but his mind is elsewhere. Every time he glances toward the dishwasher, his stomach tightens. She moves with a grace that seems out of place for someone doing such a menial job. It's clear she's been in kitchens before, real kitchens like his. But why? Why would someone like her, the owner's mother, choose to be here in this role? Tension hangs heavy in the air, but it's not just from the chef's anxiety. The staff is watching him now, their respect for him shaken. A few even seem to rally around the dishwasher, offering to help her with the heavier loads or fetching supplies before she asks. She thanks them warmly, her kindness a sharp contrast to the chef's earlier outbursts. Then it happens. A customer sends back a plate of food, complaining it's undercooked. The chef snaps at the line cook, but it's clear he's more rattled than angry. The dishwasher steps forward, her voice calm but firm. "Let me handle this," she says. The entire kitchen freezes. Before anyone can protest, she takes the plate and begins to fix it herself. Her hands move with the precision of someone who's been cooking for decades. She doesn't just redo the dish, she transforms it, adding subtle touches that elevate it beyond what was originally served. The owner watches closely from the corner, saying nothing. The staff exchanges wide-eyed glances, and even the chef can't hide his surprise. As she finishes plating, the tension reaches a boiling point. Everyone knows something big is about to happen, but no one knows what it will be. As the elderly woman finishes plating the dish, the owner steps forward for the first time, his expression unreadable. He picks up the plate, inspects it for a moment, then turns to the chef. "You're the expert," he says evenly. "What do you think? Does this meet your standard?" The chef hesitates, caught off guard by the question. He leans closer to the dish, noticing details he hadn't thought to include in his own creations, subtle flourishes that make the food almost look like art. "It's good," he mutters reluctantly, his pride bruised. The owner nods and hands the plate to a server. "Let's see what the customer thinks," he says, his tone calm but carrying weight. As the server rushes off, the room buzzes with tension. The dishwasher returns to her station as if nothing happened, but the staff can't stop whispering about her skills. The chef, meanwhile, feels his frustration bubbling over. Who is this woman, really? Was this all some kind of setup? Moments later, the server returns, breathless. The customer loved it, they announce. Said it was the best they've ever had. The staff erupts into murmurs, but the owner raises a hand, silencing them. "Let's not celebrate just yet," he says, his voice firm. Then turning to the chef, he adds, "I think it's time we have a talk." The chef stiffens, unsure what's coming. But before he can respond, the owner gestures to his mother. "You two, Mom. It's time they all know the truth." The room falls silent, the air thick with anticipation. What truth? The staff exchanges bewildered looks, the suspense growing with every passing second. The stage is set, and no one knows what's about to happen next. The owner steps into the center of the kitchen, his mother by his side, and looks around at the stunned faces of the staff. "You all deserve to know something," he begins, his tone steady but serious. "This woman you've been working alongside tonight isn't just my mother. She's the reason this restaurant exists." The chef's face turns pale, and the staff leans in, hanging on every word. The owner continues, Years ago, when my father passed away, she took over our small family diner. She ran it single-handedly, cooking, cleaning, managing, everything. She built it up from nothing, and eventually that diner became this restaurant. Everything you see here started with her. Gasps ripple through the room. The chef's mind races as he recalls every harsh word he had directed at her. Shame washes over him, but the owner isn't finished. Tonight wasn't just about helping out, the owner says, glancing at his mother with a proud smile. It was about seeing how you all treat each other when no one's watching. Kitchens are about more than skill. They are about respect, teamwork, and humility. The chef stumbles forward, words tumbling out. I didn't know, he stammers. I didn't mean. The owner cuts him off, his voice sharp. You didn't know because you didn't care to know. You saw her age, her job, and you judged her. But she could run circles around anyone in this kitchen. Just as the chef looks ready to crumble under the weight of his guilt, the elderly woman steps forward. Her eyes are kind, but her words cut deep. Everyone deserves respect, no matter where they are in life. Remember that. Before anyone can respond, she turns to the rest of the staff. Now let's get back to work, she says with a wink. The tension in the room lifts, replaced by a sense of awe. As the team scrambles to finish the night's service, the chef lingers near the dishwasher station, watching her quietly. He knows his reputation has taken a hit, but something deeper has changed. For the first time, he's not thinking about himself. He's thinking about how to earn her respect. But just as things seem to settle, the owner leans into his mother and whispers, "So, Mom, ready to show them your souffle recipe tomorrow?" Her laugh echoes through the kitchen, leaving the chef frozen, knowing that tomorrow might just be an even harder lesson. The next morning, the kitchen feels different. There's a quiet buzz of anticipation as the staff prepares for another busy day. But today, they're not just focused on the usual rush. They're waiting to see what happens when the owner's mother steps in to teach them her legendary souffle recipe. The chef arrives early, uncharacteristically subdued. He approaches the elderly woman near the prep station, his voice low and sincere. "I owe you an apology," he says, avoiding her gaze at first, but then meeting her eyes. "I let my ego get in the way, and I disrespected you. It won't happen again." She studies him for a moment, then smiles. "Apology accepted," she says. But remember, respect isn't about words. It's about actions. Let's see how you handle today. The lesson begins, and the staff gathers around her as she patiently walks them through each step of her recipe. Her hands move effortlessly, and her voice carries wisdom and warmth. Even the chef, usually too proud to take advice, listens intently, asking questions and following her lead. By the end of the day, the staff has not only mastered a new dish, but also gained a new sense of unity. The chef, once feared for his temper, surprises everyone by thanking her in front of the team and promising to do better. As the restaurant doors close that night, the owner pulls his mother aside. "You did it again," he says with a smile. She shrugs, laughing lightly. "It's not about me," she replies. "It's about teaching people to value each other. That's what makes a kitchen and a restaurant truly great." And with that, she leaves the staff with more than just a recipe. She leaves them with a lesson they'll never forget.